Hello, this is Shadowverse, a game made by C Games. It's fairly new, doesn't have too many expansions or extra cards, but the cards they do have in the game they have here is incredibly entertaining, and it's kept me away from other games like Hearthstone nowadays, and that alone is pretty good. So we're going to get right into it. There is a few different mechanics that make this game different than a lot of other card games, such as the evolve mechanic and a few other different changes that I will go over the first couple times, the first few videos. You start with a lot of free promotional things, some extra card pack tickets, and the arena mode called Take Two. We're going to be playing some arena to start off, but this is a deck I've made. Let's do that later. Let's do that at another time. For right now, just Take Two. So Take Two is there's 15. Well, when you go into Take Two, you have two sets of 2 cards, and you simply take 2 of them that you like, and that goes into your deck, and you do that again and again and again until you have a 30 card Take Two deck. You always get a legendary card and 2 rares, I believe they're called, the second to highest rarity, behind legendary, and you get a lot of tickets just by playing the game for this, so that's quite interesting. The price is about the same as in Hearthstone, 150 gold, or if you have a ticket you can just get in for free. So I'm going to go ahead and use a ticket, and you pick a leader, which Shadowcraft is a mid-game tempo-y kind of class that relies on their minions dying. Whenever they die, they get a shadow, and they can collect these and use necromancy abilities that will eat their shadows for that effect. Bloodcraft is based on the thought of cutting your arm off to kill someone. You have multiple effects that hurt yourself and sometimes your ally combined until you hit a certain life total, which is 10, and then all of your cards become much more powerful, and you are supposed to be able to swing back after you hit 10. And Havencraft is a priest-like class, I would want to say, based on you can base it on healing, but the main draw is amulets, which act as equipment, very similar to equipment in Magic the Gathering, where they just sit on the field and do something, and they will slowly count themselves down. Once the countdown on an amulet hits 0, the amulet will die, and it will create an effect. So, for an example, there is a countdown amulet that when you play it for, let's say, 2 mana, or 3 mana, sorry, it has a countdown of 3, or 1 mana for 3 turns. And after those 3 turns, you will draw 3 cards. So you play it on turn 1, on turn 3, it will die, and you will draw cards. Simple as that. That is 90% of the mechanics in Havencraft, arguably. But I feel the strongest with Bloodcraft. It's the easiest class for me, so I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So you have 30 cards. It says which 2 do you want. You can either have 2 legendaries, the Beast Dominator, which is a 5 mana 6/6. That at the start of my turn you deal 2 damage to your own leader, If Vengeance is not active, Vengeance is the status effect you gain after you hit 10 life. And then you give -2 attack to this follower. So your Beast Dominator becomes a 4/6 after it has hurt yourself, you. And I can get a Soul Dealer, which is a 4-mana 6/4, which is pretty good stats, an offensive stat line, with Ward. And Ward is a taunt, for those of you who play Hearthstone. It just makes it so he has priority when someone is attacking you. So if a 1/1 tries to hit me in the face, they have to first kill my Ward before they can deal any damage to me, or attack me with their creatures more precisely. His on-play effect, his Fanfare, is deal X damage to your leader, where X equals half of your current leader's defense, rounded down. If I have 20 life, I will be knocked down to 10 to play him. You may be curious what this Evolve button is. Evolve is a one of the mechanics. You have a certain number, 2 or 3 Evolve tokens per game that activate on turn 3 for the second player. And after you have your tokens opened, when you play any minion, you can evolve them immediately if you'd like on play. And it will give them much stronger stats or a ability, and it will allow them to attack immediately on play, giving them a charge-like effect. But you cannot attack the leader if you do this. The only difference is if the creature could already attack the enemy leader, such as if it had charge or this game's version of charge, which is Storm, then you can still attack face if you evolve. This creature doesn't change any of his effects, he simply gains 2/2 and can attack immediately, which on turn 4 is very, very powerful. All creature cards can do this. It just makes them much more powerful. So I can choose these 2 legendaries, which are subpar legendaries. Or I can choose Demon Commander Laura, which will give an allied follower Storm if Vengeance is active for me on play. And Furia, which is an 8-mana 7/7 that at the end of my turn I deal 1 damage to the enemy leader and draw a card. I much prefer these 2, so I'm going to pick them. I'm going to let you read over the cards very quickly, and if I read over the same card twice, I will just pass over them, so you can have a chance to read and figure out what everything does. Devil of Vengeance, a 3-mana 4/4, 4 attack and 4 health. Can only attack if I am at 10 health or less. And evolving him just turns him into a 6/6 that can only attack if I am below 10 health or less. This is the mana bubble, the attack bubble, and the defense bubble, for those of you who are unclear or unsure of card games and how their stat distributions and stuff work. A last word or last words activates when the minion dies. So when he is summoned or when he dies, he will do something. In this case, summon a Forest Bat. And a Forest Bat is a 1-mana 1/1. So he summons some 1/1s when he does pretty much anything. And she hurts you for a little bit of damage, which is good for this class. It is in need of some cards that hurt yourself, or you could leave them at 11 health and then burst them for 11, and that doesn't help the class very much, obviously. I am gonna go ahead and take these two late game cards. Not all followers get 2/2 when they evolve. This follower is an example of that. He gets 1/1. She gets 1/1. And when you evolve her, she gets an added effect to deal 2 damage to a enemy follower and restore 2 defense to your leader. Summon X forest bats and deal X damage to your leader. X equals the number of enemy followers in play. Simply put, if you are playing an against an aggro deck or a deck built on having a bunch of little creatures, you can give some life up to equal the playing field a little bit. If you evolve her with Vengeance active, it will destroy something, and she gets 2/2. He has Storm. He's a 2-mana, 2/1 Storm. And like I've said before, Storm is a charge effect. So he can attack immediately. But he does 2 damage to me as well. He's a 1-mana, 1/2. Deals 1 damage to both leaders. Leaders are us, our own players, not any of the cards on the field. Gains 2 attack if Vengeance is active. Gains Drain if Vengeance is active. I'm going to go ahead and take the low drops. These are very good 1s and 2s, and we just need more of those most of the time. Deals 2 damage to me when played. 5 mana, 4/4. That gains Drain if Vengeance is active. Whenever this follower attacks, deal 1 damage to both leaders. Deal 2 damage to your own leader, and you can simply destroy an enemy follower. That's a very powerful effect with another little creature that we might need. It could be said that having a mid-rangey style play could help, though because both of these cards are in a Vengeance-based deck, which we're not running too much of. We're kind of leaning towards Forest Bat-like stuff. I'm not going to worry about it too much. I don't think we need that. So we're going to get that. Mini Soul Devil. Whenever a follower evolves on either side, I can deal 1 damage to the enemy and restore myself for 1 health. 2 mana, deal 3 damage to an enemy, and 2 damage to myself. Very potent removal for very low mana. Blood Pact, deal 2 damage to me and draw 2 cards. Very good draw. And another Nightmare. We're gonna go ahead and take the 3 in the removal, because I kind of like the removal. I can choose here between a gold card, which is like a that one up above rare, which is like unique or not legendary, below legendary, which is Erd, which destroys a follower and then returns it to play to do its to restore its health, to re-evolve it if it has a good evolve effect. It just resets the creature for me. A 7 mana 6/7. A 5 mana 3/7 that deals 3 to all of my allies, and it has Ward. Or Execution that simply destroys something. Gain 2 attack if Vengeance is active for me. 2 mana 3/2 that hurts me for 2 when dead. Another Forest Bat card that saps me for some life every turn to summon one of my Forest Bats. And a 6 mana 5/6 that turns into a 7/8 if Vengeance is active for me. Not including Evolve, which would give it another 2/2. Going to do this. Deal 3 damage to both leaders when this evolves. Medusa's Gaze. You give an allied follower the same ability as Medusa. Medusa will, when attacking an enemy follower, destroys the enemy follower before that follower has any chance to deal damage back to the Medusa. So it's, for those of you with Magic the Gathering in mind, Death Touch First Strike. Very potent. Then Savage Hunt, a Bloodcraft version of Execute, which destroys an enemy follower, but you also get to draw a card if Vengeance is currently active for you. I tend to lead more towards Medusa's Gaze. It is a very, very strong card, but having the 3 and the 4 drop will help. Simply matters what kind of cards I have currently. I think with what I'm going, I can't say I wouldn't mind having the 3 and the 4. So I think I'm going to do that. Another Soul Navigator. A Rampaging Giant that gains 1 attack and ward if Vengeance is active for me. Another Blood Wolf and a Crimson Purge, which will kill something for 2 of my health. I'm going to say I need another Blood Wolf. A Midnight Vampire that gives 1 attack to all of my Forest Bats on play. Very strong. Another Precious Blood Fangs, Labyrintho, and Vampire Pod. I think I'm going to say I need the 3 drop and another Precious Blood Fang. That's 2. Serpent Charmer, another Crimson, another Blood Pack, and a Killer Devil, which is a 3 mana 2/1 that summons a 1/1 Forest Bat. I can't say no to the Forest Bats, since I've already built around them so strongly. A 3 mana 1/4 with Taunt, or Ward. Execute. Dance of Death, kill something, deal 2 damage to the enemy leader. Or give 3 health to an allied follower. Nothing in this particular choice is good, so I have to take the better of the 2 evils that I don't care for here. Depending on how strong my 3 drops are, which are okay, I think I'm going to choose the Cloud Chorus over the Execute. I think I'm going to take more 3 drops, though the draw could help. I already have a lot of self-damage and not too much Vengeance to back it up, so I'm actually going to take the Killer Devils. And last, my legendary picks again. I can have Lucifer, which at the end of my turn will give 4 health to myself as leader. Or, if I evolve him, can deal 4 damage to the enemy leader. Evolved, he gains a lot more attack and some more life. He's a very offensive evolve, but he has a lot of reward for being offensively evolved. Diabolic Drain, which is 5 mana. It will deal 4 damage to an enemy follower, then restore 2 defense to me. If Vengeance is active, this card costs 4 less, which makes it 1. So 1 mana for 4 damage, and 2 health back. Which is a good comeback mechanic. I can have Gabriel, which is a 7 mana 3/4, which sounds like a very low cost, very high cost for very low stats. But on play, she gives 4 attack and 4 health to an ally, which makes her arguably a 7/7. Though you have to have someone else in play for her to really shine. Or another Beast Dominator. The choice here is clear. I don't care for Beast Dominator as a card, and her style of play doesn't work with my deck, since its focus is currently around Forest Bats, not Vengeance, too strongly. So I'm going to go ahead and click Lucifer. So that's my deck. You can always view it to check what your main theme is if you need. But in take 2, after you've made your deck, you play 5 matches. And it doesn't matter how many times you lose. You can lose all of them if you would like. Or if it's not good enough to win any of the matches. And that's still fine. You still get a little reward. Though your reward slightly increases for each victory. So it's good to win as much as you can. So let's do the first match then, just to kind of show you how the game works. This game can be hard to grasp at first, like any card game, but the basics, it's very taught to you very in depth, and as you go through the storyline, it becomes very clear what your turn should, how they should play out, and what you need to be doing. My mulligan stage, like in any card game, is right now. You get to pick what you want in your hand. My deck is very centered around their 3 drops, and so I'm going to go ahead and keep this and hope I can get into 2 or 1s. Got 2 5s. That's fine. I'm playing against Dragoncraft. Dragoncraft for Hearthstone players is Druid. And for Magic players is green. What? Kind of. They just ramp themselves, or ramping is a term used and created by Magic. Simply, they have cards that raise their mana higher than the opponent's, sometimes by great numbers. And the objective is to play bigger creatures than your opponent can handle most of the time. So I'm going to try to survive until turn 10 and hope his big creatures don't knock me down faster than I can handle them.
Let the deadly show begin.
When I play her for 3 mana, she summons her 1/1. His 2/2 gains 2 attack whenever another follower evolves. For 4 mana, he plays the Glint Dragon, which is a 4 mana 4/2 that deals 1 damage to an enemy follower on play. And then he attacked after he destroyed the minion that he wanted to destroy. So I played my Precious Bloodfang to gain 2 1/1s, and then destroyed his 4/2 with a Razor Claw, which deals 3 damage and hits me for 2.
There's a lot more where that came from. Skin will be burnt and bones crushed.
executed his creature, which was a Death Mist dragon. It cannot be attacked, and at the start of each of his turns, he would have dealt 1 damage to everything else on the field. I didn't want that, as it would destroy my creatures, so instead I killed it and traded, and it hit face for a little bit of damage.
Light upon the land.
She played a 5 mana 2/6 taunt or ward, which means that I cannot attack her face because she has the ward. It takes priority over it, which is fine. Going to attack, making it a 2/5.
Get to work!
It's going to deal 2 damage to nothing because, or 3 damage to nothing because there's nothing on the field. I'm going to evolve it, making it get 2/2 and kill
My
his 2/5.
lord.
So, because I evolved, I could attack immediately and kill his thing. But he had a response to immediately kill mine. So this could be thought of as a waste of an evolved token. And it could be, but because I start with 3 instead of 2, I have a little bit more that I can give because he has bigger monsters than I do every turn. So I'm going to summon my 3/5 that hits me for 1 damage at the end of each turn and summons a 1/1 for me. I am 1 away from Vengeance. Once Vengeance is active, I can play this without taking 4 damage to myself. Because it won't be active, it'll just be a 7 mana 7/8, which isn't too bad.
Our fiery pillars will lead the way.
He plays a 6 mana 5/5 that subtracts 2 from the cost of a card in his hand,
My true strength?
and then evolves it, make it a 7/7,
A scarlet red.
hitting my 3/5 for some damage. Then plays a 3 mana 2/3 that deals 2 damage to a enemy follower. I am in bad shape, but I have the destroy card still. That's freed up. I can also play this and evolve it. So I'm going to Crimson Purge this,
I can still go on.
which will make Vengeance active for me, though I can't play this card right now. It is 7 mana, and I only have 4 this turn. So instead I'll play this. My 3 mana 1/4.
Come, my darling.
And I will evolve it, making it a
Witness the power.
3/6.
Would you mind escorting me? There we go.
And I will hit his 2/3 because I can attack immediately. Does it feel like you're getting it? I hope so. It's fairly easy to learn and
harsh
understand
master.
after a while.
I'm gonna toy with you.
When I evolve her, I can destroy an enemy minion because Vengeance is active at the moment.
Despair is the spice of life.
I will give this 3 health and simply destroy his other minions. He summons a ward and then kills it for no particular reason. Simply, he knows he's going to lose, probably. We are both out of evolve tokens, so we can't make any big tempo plays at the moment. But that's fine.
Now why you stand before me? Oh, they're sparkly. There we go.
Let's retreat!
I'm scared of a lot of damage that comes in. I could have waited on that. But because I am at 9, and I have to... Sorry, I have to remember that. I went ahead and took the route that got me a little bit more damage to my minions, but will save me for another turn. Gonna go ahead and just Lucifer,
Prosper and be blessed.
which will heal me at the beginning of my turn
Gimme!
for a lot.
Dust to dust. There we go.
And I'm going to take my 5-1 and trade it into his 5-5, giving me room to play a 1-1 that will hurt both of us for 1. I win my turn. Now, because Lucifer is in play, I heal for 1, or 4, which will take away the 1 damage I just took. I'll draw some cards.
I admit defeat.
And lose.
All too easy.
Okay. So that was the end of game 1. Okay.